Welcome back to Clear Talk. I'm your host, Armin Shaffi. This is my co-host,
Janelle Duro.
and this is the #1 show for coaches that need clarity in their business, their mindset, and their life. Okay, now the big question is, how do coaches like us who started with nothing risk everything to build a business around helping other people transform their lives? How do we get our message out there in the world, get clients consistently, all while still making a huge difference in the world? That's the big question. The show will give you the answer. Now, if you're on YouTube and you like content like this and you've been loving the content from our show, then don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button and also that little notification bell so you get notified every time we drop multiple weekly videos, by the way, 2 to 3 videos a week for you to grow your business, all free content. And if you're in the Facebook group, why don't you drop a comment down below right now where you're from, what city you're from, and some fire emojis to show your excitement for being here live. If you're live, put hashtag live. If you're on the replay right now, put hashtag replay so we know that you stopped by. And let's rock and roll. So the way this show works is every Monday we go live at 12 p.m. Eastern time to answer your questions when you submit them at askarmin.com. Now, if you want to be a part of the live joined show, then you got to go into our High Ticket Coaching Community Facebook group so you can be a part of the Facebook Live. But if you're watching on YouTube, that's what you got to go right now, go into the group. Now, if you're on Facebook, then obviously hit some like, some care button, some heart buttons, drop some comments so we know you're live. This episode is going to be a little bit different. We ran a competition in our Facebook group for the most, the best introduction a coach gave in our group, and second, the most engagement a coach, or #1 Coach of the Month award for the person who gave the most engagement. So 2 people won, and that is my friends Jordan and Carrie, who are actually joining us live for the show. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hello. So excited to be here.
So we got Jordan, we got Carrie, and both of them are amazing, amazing coaches. And we're really excited to have you guys on right now, by the way. And so how it's going to work, Jay, why don't you tell us how it's going to work with our live guest today?
Awesome. So right away, we are going to have them ask Armin questions directly first. So first off, you get to know a little bit about them. They're going to let you know what type of coach they are, #1, and then both of them get to ask 2 questions for the show. So Armin, if you'd like.
Yeah, Jordan, why don't you introduce yourself first? Are we there? Are they frozen?
Hi, everyone. So for having me here, so excited. Yes.
There we go. Hold on. You just froze up a bit. Go ahead now.
Good now?
Yeah, introduce yourself. So who are you and what do you do?
Awesome. My name is Jordan Thomas Tony, and I'm currently building my business as a morning.
Say it again. You're cutting out. Whoa.
It's his personal hotspot.
Is it?
Yeah.
We have.
He's too hot for his hotspot.
So Jordan
Hold on,
is living.
Carrie, is it both? Is it our internet or is it theirs?
Carrie, are you good?
No, but check.
No, it's our internet.
My name is Carrie Buck, and I teach people how to generate consistent monthly passive income.
Check it.
Hold on, we gotta check. Okay, so while we're taking their Wi-Fi,
I'm connected to the one that's ours.
Perfect.
So
hold
we
on.
should be fine.
I think you're smooth now. So say hi, guys.
Hi.
No, they're freezing up.
So our Wi-Fi
Hello.
is the same Wi-Fi that she's using.
Yeah. Well, this is why we add new things. We try stuff. It's okay. Stuff happens. Okay, cool. So I don't want to take it away from them. Carrie helps people build ATM businesses and get rich. That's a really oversimplified way of putting it. She's a coach helping you start an ATM business and rock and roll. And Jordan is an inner. There's so many ways you can frame what he's doing, though. So I want to kind of see. I don't know if you have a refined version of what you say now, but I know he's in the space of helping entrepreneurs find love and peace inside again while becoming way more productive in their game. So becoming better at what they are without sacrificing all their personal life and their personal time and quality of life. And did I hit that on the ball with you guys? Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yes, Jordan?
Yes. For me, yes.
Okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Carrie's like, yes, I help people get rich through ATMs. That's absolutely, that was on the ball. Okay, cool. So, how's it gonna work, Jay?
So Jordan is gonna ask you one question first, and you're gonna answer it, and then you can go to Carrie, and then we'll back to Jordan, and we'll go back to Carrie.
Okay, cool. Well, once our Wi-Fi decides to wake up,
No, I think we're fine.
is it there? It can't be two Wi-Fis at once.
No, I think we're fine.
Well, I'll sit here patiently as you guys figure it out.
Go ahead.
I think it's.
Why don't
it's,
you let
it's
Jordan
personal,
just
yeah.
text it to you and then you read out the chat?
Yeah.
Since that there's a problem with their wife.
Jordan, did you catch that?
Because we're really good on our end.
I'm
Yeah.
just a variable here.
Jordan, did you catch that?
No, I'm going to try and ask my question now.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it better to be more consistent with your social media or to more so be inspired and then post on social media?
Oh, that's a good question. So the question was, because you cut out a bit, but the question was, is it better or is it more important to be consistent with social media, so just being like a machine, or is it better if you're inspired, and you write when you're inspired? I'll be honest, man, because I've done both, I used to struggle a lot because I'm an inspired person, I'm a creative, so it's really hard to like structure inspiration. You can't, it's impossible. So some of my best posts, even to this day, even my best ads, came from me getting inspired out of nowhere. Like, I'm just like, I want to write about this. And it's like usually a distraction to what I'm doing. So I'm in a deep work session and I'm working on something. I'm like, I feel like I want to just go on Facebook and write this. And so I've been on both sides. And I've also been on Clear Talk has been the most consistent machine content creation thing ever. So I've done both sides. And I'll be honest, man, I think both is important. That's the real answer, man. The real answer is, Jordan, that like you can't just be consistent because then you get boring. And you can't just be inspirational because you never get consistent.
That's a great point. Say that again.
Say that again.
So you can't just be consistent and produce like every day because you have to, because you'll be boring. You'll be too redundant. And you can't just base your content creation on inspiration because you'll never be consistent, right? So I think you need to do both. So it's a perfect mixture of this. I would say the perfect like pancake or like the perfect layer of foundation of a content creation game plan strategy in your business is you create a minimum consistent content creation plan. So like the minimums, I gotta do this live every week, or we gotta post once a day on Instagram from this live we repurpose. So doing something that is consistent, but then adding the second layer, which is inspirationally maybe 2-3 times a week. If you're in mode, you write, or you put something, or you go live. And then those combinations will create a more superior content creation strategy. So don't ever just do one or the other. And the real thing is like one is not more important than the other. Now, if I were to bring it down to like which one is more powerful, if you had to choose one, I would say it's inspirational. Here's the reason why. The quality of that content will be much better. Right? For example, now on Facebook, there was a time when I was posting like every day, okay? And I would get consistency. And, Gary Vee talks about consistency. Like, just post every day, 500 times a day. It's like, before 12 p.m., I post more than you in a year. Now, it's fine because you do show up over and over again. But here's like, let me give you an example. Which one's more impactful? You want to get a girl's attention, just example. So you go to the same place she works at every day, 3 times a day. Eventually, she's going to be like, this guy's interested in me.
Or a stalker.
But eventually she'll surrender and be like, fine, I'll go on a date with you. Like, it could work. But there's a very good chance you might also piss her off or just make her not want to ever see your face again because she's like getting sick of you. Or you show up once a month in a random situation. And it's just this like touch, this spark.
Yeah.
And she goes, ooh, I remember it. There's a higher chance she'll feel better about seeing you again than there is if she saw you all the time, every day. So it's the difference between giving someone $1 or giving them 20 dimes. Not dimes. Nickels. I've been using credit cards so long I'm forgetting about the money system. So even though it's the same amount of money, you got 20 nickels or you got $1. Which one do you think you'll value more? Weirdly enough. Because there's more quantity, there is a higher chance you get more sick of it. It's saturation. So with content, it kind of is it kind of is the same thing, okay? Kind of is the same thing. If you keep seeing myself everywhere, eventually they'll want to unsubscribe, or they'll just unfollow. They're like, I don't want to see this anymore. It's too much. But there's this perfect balance of like, if you were to do inspirational thing, even if it's not consistent, that one post you make like once in a week or every other week will have more merit to your audience, like more value and more impact than 100 posts. I'll give you an example. I'm really bad with this. For example, personally, I delete my apps like half the time. So I'm not even active. I'm either a ghost or I'm like there, like 5 times a day posting on Instagram story.
Yeah.
It's because I'm like that. Like there's fluctuation in my inspiration. Check this out. Years ago, I would feel the pressure, like you probably, Jordan. Like I'd feel the pressure of like, I have to post every day, and I hated it because I'm like, I don't want to make it up. It's not real. It's inauthentic.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would just not pay attention, and out of nowhere, like months have passed by, I haven't posted anything on Facebook. I'll post one thing, I'll get like hundreds of likes, comments. I'll go live once, it'll blow up. I'll get like 2,000 views. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it's because I have that surprise element all over again. So every time there's distance, this isn't 48 Laws of Power. Every time your absence creates respect.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. Robert Greene, shout out. Absence creates respect. When you're not there, in that absence, people become curious.
Yeah.
Like, there's a mystery to you. And then
Where
there's
they
a
at?
respect. There's a desire for you. Where is he?
Yeah.
Where'd Jordan go? Her? And so when you come back, they're like, oh, like they just have so much more value for you, right? That's why we're getting the next show after this is gonna be next year. I just want to make sure I practice this. No one's paying attention. Okay, great. So
I
the next show after this is gonna be a year from now, so we can create respect. So I would say inspiration is more powerful of the form of content creation than consistency, but both is important if you want to be serious about building your business. But inspiration is the ones that will maybe inspire a person that just makes them go, man, I want to work with you, or I want to follow you, like, become a fan. Like it just takes one piece of good content from someone to become very loyal to you, for it to click, for them to click follow, to hit you up, to message you, to become a client. Just one piece of content. And obviously with the numbers game is the more people, the more consistency you have, the more chances there are. But also you risk the redundancy factor. You saturate them. So I think there has to be a perfect balance. And if you have a consistent way of producing every day, but you have the random things, it'll give both tastes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I am. Like I barely ever go live other than the show. But when I do, everyone's on because like, what the hell's Armin talking about? Because I never go live. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? That's a good question, by the way. That's a great question. Jordan?
Your mouth is moving.
There you go.
We can hear you now.
We're lucky we have 2 very attractive people on the show because they're frozen most of the time, so we get to just stare at how beautiful they are.
Why don't you just call in?
Huh?
Sorry, Jordan?
Am I back?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
you're
could.
there. Hello.
They could.
Could he just call in instead?
Like mute him on the TV.
This is what you're saying?
Yeah. Repeat that?
Thank you.
Awesome.
He said something else, but I guess we're not going to try to pull out more content if it keeps freezing.
I think you just confirmed what you were saying. I got the tail end of what
That
you
was
were
a great question, though, man. It was a great question. That's good. If you want, you can call him. Whatever. Hey, it's your show.
You tell him to call in.
saying. Colin, why?
On your phone. And
To-
then mute him on there. Just
On
have him on the
Zoom?
phone.
And call him
On
through Zoom?
Zoom?
No.
On Zoom, there's 2 options.
Oh, true. There's a
one
call
option for
in.
Wi-Fi, one option for phone if your Wi-Fi is terrible.
Yeah.
So let them call from phone. I
From
think that'll
Zoom,
be better.
yeah.
Okay.
Like, turn off their videos, yeah.
Could they hear me? I don't think they can hear me.
It's fine. Carrie, let's ask your question.
All right, so Armin, if I told you that people that watch my YouTube videos that end up
Tell them to turn
call,
off their
you know, with
video.
my
Uh-oh.
team, 80% end up buying. How would you tell me to best use that knowledge running, let's say, cold traffic to Facebook, or how to use that knowledge,
This is a good
to
question.
leverage that knowledge?
This is a good question. Go off camera so I can hear you say it smoothly because I heard half of it, but I know what you're asking. I want to hear it better. Turn your video off so that hopefully it's smoother when you talk. Try that for a second. Try going off camera So we can just hear your audio?
Can you hear me right?
Okay, try again. Yeah, say your question again. It's not that, guys. It's something else.
I have no idea what it could be.
Senator,
Because I've changed.
how would you tell me to best use that knowledge running, let's say, Facebook?
Oh, I got you.
Admin
Carrie,
would
give me a
best
second.
Use that knowledge in my face.
What are you trying to suggest?
Listen, I just pulled this into yourself.
Super focused.
All right, give me a sec.
Can you hear me?
No, hold on, Carrie. Pick up the phone.
I already tried switching my Wi-Fi twice.
It's not your Wi-Fi.
You want me to type it in the chat?
No, I'm just calling you.
I think you're good, Carrie. Do you want to say something? Say your sentence again.
No, there you go. Carrie.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, man. Hey. You can go back on camera so we can see your pretty face while you talk.
Alright.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna mute the...
Yeah, mute the Zoom. There we go.
Alright, can you...
Yeah, and I'm sure everyone else can hear you. Go ahead. Ask the question. It was a good question.
So, if I told you that people that watch my YouTube videos that end up booking a call, 80% of them are sales, how would you tell me to best utilize that knowledge, for instance, when running cold traffic to Facebook ads, or best use that knowledge in my Facebook group or with my email list? Like, how can I leverage that knowledge?
So this is a good question. So are you asking more about how do you use the YouTube content because clearly it pre-frames your prospects good to buy? Or
Yes.
how do you, okay. So here's what I would do. This is actually what I did. And a lot of our sales come from, when we did the math, like almost like 30 or 40% of our book calls and our sales came from YouTube videos. So here's what I would do. Find out which video is the best one that's converting the best. Like, that gets not only the book call, but also people love the most. And then put that a part of your homework. Do you have a PDF or do you just give them like a video?
Oh, yeah, no, I have a PDF and a video.
Remove all videos in the PDF that are unnecessary. Eliminate. Don't overdo it. Here's another thing I learned, by the way. You'd appreciate this. Is putting too much content in the PDF will overwhelm them, and they'll either reschedule because they think they have to watch it all and they don't have time, or they just end up not watching anything. So the only thing you should overfill your PDF with is testimonials, because they're not gonna watch it all, but all they gotta know is that you have that many. But in terms of content, other than your homework video and the replay of your webinar, put one YouTube video you have, your best one or your best two, and may have them watch it.
Okay.
Even tell your rep to be like, hey, check out this video, but we saw your application. This is a good pre-frame before we get on the call so you understand like what we do. So I would first find out what YouTube videos are best and then use that in the pre-call process. So
I'm sorry, I'm butting again. Is there a way that I can use this knowledge before people to get them to book a call? Like, let's say before they even book a call.
Yeah, so that's a way to improve your sales, like on the ad side. So your ads coming in, they haven't watched your YouTube, so putting it there, that's what I was talking about. How do you use that now? Again, you got to go find out which videos are doing the best, and then all you got to do is how long are usually your YouTube videos?
They vary. I mean, some for 5 minutes. I mean, I got one that's like 40-something minutes.
Yeah, so find out which one's doing the best. That topic clearly is the most engaging, right? It's the hottest topic. And create a series of short versions of those videos. So you could either take an editor and tell them to cut out the best parts of that video, okay? We're trying this. And then run that as either a retargeting ad or it would be a retargeting ad. Unless the topic is more of a new, like an opening topic on YouTube, then you could run it as a cold ad, right? Or you could just get on camera and do a short version of it. You know what I mean? And so it would be like a 1 to 2 minute like video, like what are they called when you create a short, fast version? There's a name for it. Summarized version, you know, and run them as ads. So repurposing, like, especially at where you're at, Carrie. Like, this is what I realized: you don't build new things or build more things when you get to where you're at in business. When your business is in momentum, it's just about repurposing what's working in best places.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if something's working here, take that and make it work everywhere else. Something's working here, take it and make it work everywhere else. So that's the best way I would do it. I would put the best YouTube videos in the PDF or in the pre-call process. So when they get on the call, they already watched it. They go, wow. I have one video called the 4 Deadly Mistakes to Avoid in Your Coaching Business. Because that was the 4 biggest things that coaches thought they should do. And I'm like, this is why you shouldn't do this. So when they watch it before the call, they're like, I'm doing it all wrong. So it was like, it increased our sales rate, our sales conversion.
That's awesome, yeah.
And then the second thing I would do is take our best ones, short ones. We haven't done this one yet, so I don't have data to prove it. But I know it's going to work. Because if it works on YouTube, why wouldn't it work as a retargeting ad? It's the same thing as an email sending you there anyways.
Yeah.
I just take a short version, a cutout of the best ones, and I run them as retargeting ads. Like it's like, you know, one of the ways to create retargeting angles is to take objections and create a video over it, right? And that's what I did. So I have a series of objections or false beliefs that I teach. So that's no different than an ad angle. You just take that, put it as a retargeting ad.
Yes.
But a shorter version. You could do the whole video. I think I did once a whole YouTube video, but it didn't work too well. Not a whole YouTube video. So just the parts that matter.
I love it. And ironically, I just asked my video editor to make snippets of some of my YouTube videos, so I'm on point with you.
So good. It's a good question, by the way. It's a good question. Yeah, it's good. I hope that answered.
It was perfect. Thank you, Armin.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. All right, Jordan's next. I'm going to call Jordan now. Jordan, hold on.
I think we're better now.
The stream has been perfect.
Yeah,
They're-
sure.
Do you want to change it?
Yeah.
Take him off mute for a sec.
I'll still use an iPad.
Hey Jordan, how are you?
We good.
I'm doing well. How's it
Okay,
sound?
I think we're better now. Do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, fine. That is
okay.
good. That's fine. All right, I stopped calling you.
Okay.
Okay, what's
Something I struggled with
Go ahead,
was
sorry.
patience. So for those who are just starting or want to, or maybe have done a little bit of work, how do we, implement more patience when we're starting? Because there's no results, because I know for me, when I struggled with, I would just give up, right? So how do we become patient through that, process to get to some results, which will keep us going forward?
Yeah, realizing there's no other way. You don't have an option. And the moment you accept that, patience is very easy. True or false? I'm about to call.
Did you mute yourself, Jordan?
No, he froze. Jordan, pick up. Just pick up the
Yes.
phone. Just pick up the phone. We'll have better audio.
I think he's on his phone.
I will try.
You there? Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear my answer?
No.
Okay. So your question was, how do we deal with patience right in the beginning?
Yeah.
Because there's no results.
Yes.
So I said realizing there's no other choice.
Okay.
The moment you accept that, patience is very easy. Like, the only reason why it's tormenting to be patient in the beginning is because there's a part of you that believes it could happen faster, right? Yes or no? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't want to be patient.
Right? You want it faster.
Yeah.
What if I told you there is no way to get it fast? Then what would you feel?
Lost?
Why would you feel lost?
Because my mind is like, I can do this now. I can do this right away.
Yeah, but what makes your mind think that? What makes you think you could do it right now and get it right away?
I guess that's just what it wants. It doesn't really know that.
Right. But your mind is here to serve you, be controlled by you, not the other way around, right? So you got to teach your mind, like a puppy, how it's supposed to behave.
Yeah.
Make sense? Your mind is a form of intelligence. It doesn't have its own intelligence. You're the intelligence. So when you accept that the basic law of anything is to take time, it's very easy to be patient. The only time you start to get impatient, pay very close attention, is when you start comparing yourself. It's the only time you're frustrated with that. If I put you in a world where everybody took 5 years, everybody, to make $1 million or $100,000, and you were at a year in, you wouldn't feel at all impatient.
Yeah.
Because that's what you see is normal. But you have to manage your expectations. And simply by just using your intelligence, you're intelligent. You have to realize that anything, the bigger the goal, the longer it'll take. If I want to build a house, 1-story house, it might take me a month or two with a big team. Right? Dig the foundation, build the stuff, build it up. If I want to build a skyscraper, shit will take years. So imagine now, as a contractor, as an architect, I'm impatient a year in to the skyscraper because my expectations is that of a bungalow. Then it's either I'm not understanding my goal, what I'm building, or I'm not understanding the difference between the size of my goal and what I want. Because I want a skyscraper's benefits, but I want it to happen in a bungalow's time. I want a bamboo tree to grow in 6 months, not in 6 years. But I want a bamboo tree. I just don't want to wait. Well, tell me, is there one human being on this planet that has figured that out? Wanting something that takes longer, but happening it right away. Is there a farmer that you know of? Did you hear about a story somewhere that a farmer hacked nature and made a bamboo tree happen in a week? Have you ever heard of that story?
No, never heard of those.
So then the question is, what part of your brain makes it a concrete idea to believe it could happen faster? So when you look at it like that, you go, well, I have no real facts to base my impatience off of. So what am I frustrated about? So tell me this. Whenever you get impatient, what's the last time you were impatient? Whether it was now, yesterday, like when is the last time you were impatient? And what was it about?
Yeah, right now I'm trying to get an apartment, so it's taking way longer than I thought.
Okay. And how long do you think it would take?
I thought it would take like 2 weeks, and I'm at week 5 now.
Why do you think it'll take 2 weeks?
Just because I thought it would be easy. I thought I would find a place, people would understand our situation, and we'd find a nice place.
And that is now taking 5 weeks. What's the big deal about that? What's wrong with it taking 5 weeks?
What's wrong with taking this long?
Yeah, well, like what's so bad about waiting 3 more weeks?
It's just a lot more work than I thought, so it's taking out more time than I thought.
Now, is getting an apartment important to you?
Yeah, really important.
Yeah. Is there an option where you don't get one?
Pardon?
Is there an option where you quit and don't get one?
No, that's not an option.
Is there an option where there's a threshold of difficulty? Like, if it gets this hard, I probably won't do it.
No, I can't quit.
Good. So let me ask you this. If it takes you 12 weeks, when you get into the place and you sit down after moving in, is it going to feel any less good to be there than if it took you 2 weeks?
Well, that's going to feel the same. It's going to feel like home.
It's going to feel the same. Now, here's the thing. That's what I thought too. And then I asked it and I realized something else. If it took you 12 weeks to get the home versus 2, wouldn't it feel better? You just, after all that, you finally got it, like almost like you earned it? Like you didn't quit? Isn't there a sense of pride in you? You're like, yo, finally! It's here! Wouldn't it be a better quality of an achievement?
That's true. That's so true.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly how I feel. Now I put in like, way more work than I thought. Like once we get that, I'm going to feel way like more, like such a bigger reward.
Yeah. And that's just it, man. Like, imagine thinking like that. The longer something takes, the better I'm going to feel.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything like that, you're like, man, every day I pass by. Not that you want it to go longer. You're still going to act in massive action as fast as possible. But then your mind is being trained that, every day it adds on. It's like there's no way to lose when you think like this. When I wake up every day and I take massive action as if I want it to right now, but I combine it with a mindset of, but every day it takes one longer, I have more equity into this goal, then there's no losing. There's no reality where you feel like frustrated.
Yeah. That's good.
When you think that way.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Again, let me ask you this. Is there someone in your life that got an apartment faster than 5 weeks? Or got one in 2 weeks?
No, I don't know anybody.
So you know nobody that's got an apartment in 2 weeks?
No.
So what makes you think you would have done it in 2 weeks?
Well, I had no experience in it, and I just thought, I'm gonna naturally get at things, and it'll flow easily, and it'll work well.
And now that it's not flowing well, not happening quickly, and not naturally happening for you, what does that mean to you? Like, what do you actually believe that's frustrating you?
I'm not sure if I'm following.
So you have a belief that because it's you, it will naturally happen easily for you. It would happen quickly. Now it's not happening. So your reality is different than your expectation of your reality. So now what does that mean to you? How are you defining the meaning of this whole experience? Are you questioning if things naturally happen easily for you and if you're good?
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to see more, especially with business as well. It's realizing that I have to be more patient, and it'll take more time, and I'm not as good as my mind likes to tell me I am. I need to, develop myself in these ways to become better.
Right. So anytime someone experiences frustration is when what they expect and what is happening are different. And that's just a mismanagement of expectation. Now there's two ways to fix that. One is you could change what you expect, which is mindset work, so you're not frustrated. Because you and I both know if you're stressed, it's not going to speed things up. If you're not stressed, it's going to speed things up.
Yep. So
there's no benefit to being frustrated anyways. The other one is to change your reality. How do you change your reality? And we talked about this on one of the coaching calls before, is if what you're doing doesn't work, what do you got to do?
Yeah.
Try a new way.
Try a new way. Now let's say you try a new way and that doesn't work. Then what are you going to do?
Try a new way.
Okay, so you try a new way. Okay, let's say that doesn't work. Then what do you do?
Go back to the drawing board and try a new way.
Okay, now let's say we go to the drawing board. You made all the new ways on the drawing board. And you did those new ways and that didn't work. Now what?
Probably talk to some mentors, coaches, and find another way.
Find another way. Let's say they give you some ways and that doesn't work. Then what do you do?
I gotta find another way. There's no other option.
And let's say you try to find another way with no options and that still doesn't work. Then what do you do?
Probably cry a bit, but
Just cry a bit. But after you're done crying, what do you do?
find another way.
You find another way, man. So if you don't like your reality, you keep doing until you figure it out. But that doesn't mean you spend time frustrated about it's not happening quickly. You detach from the time. You focus on the method. Focus on your approach, not on the time it's taking. Right? Or if that's making you unhappy, change what you're expecting. It's okay. It happens when it happens.
Yeah.
You know what Think and Grow Rich talks about? Doing both. This is some shit nobody understands. You got the motivational side of the industry, who's like, find a way, approaches. Right?
Yeah.
Force your entire reality to fit what you want.
Yeah.
Motivational speakers.
Yes.
Then you got the hippies. I was there. They're like, don't worry. Just go with the flow. Sleep your way to success. You know, meditate your ass into manifestation. Like, bro, I was there. That there's a super right side and a super left side to this. You know this, I know this.
Yeah.
Okay? There is extremes on both sides. Neither one is right or wrong. It's just extreme. And they're like, don't work too hard. At the moment you feel a little bit of pain, it's wrong. Because it feels bad. And if it feels bad, you shouldn't be doing it. It's not aligned with your chakras. Now, what is thinking and Rich talk about? I'm being real with you. It's doing both. I'm not saying they're both wrong. You're just doing it. One or the other is you're missing an element that works.
Yeah.
You take massive fucking action. Like a monster. Okay? Nothing can stop you like a bulldozer. And simultaneously, you're meditating, going with the flow. Now, if you can do that shit, you can have anything you want in life. That is an art. Some people get confused when I try to teach it because it's very confusing.
Yeah.
It's understanding that contradictories in that lesson is okay.
Yeah.
They are contradictory, but that's the point. Life in science and in nature and existence isn't simple. It's a very complicated thing. Or else everyone would understand chemistry, but none of us do. You know that, okay? Nobody. But that's life. Science is life, man. Like, look at science. That's how detailed, intricate, and complex the breakdown of existence is. Your mind is far more complicated than that. So I'm oversimplifying it, in fact, just explaining it this way, but it's like, you gotta keep changing your approach, change your approach, action, while simultaneously detached from everything happening. It's okay. It doesn't work out. But I'm gonna act as if it's not.
Yeah.
But inside you're like, it is. And the only way you could do what I'm saying, which is very, very, like, it's very hard, is being extremely aware of understanding that there is a difference between your external experience and your internal experience.
Amen.
But someone who doesn't understand that, they confuse the outside with inside with outside.
Yeah.
They feel depressed, so everything around them is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Or everything around them is bad, so if they feel depressed now.
Yeah.
Both of those are wrong. Both have its place. You ever meet angry people? I know some people that are angry. And I always wonder, I'm like, why are they so angry? They're miserable inside, right? Then you get to talk to them, and like somebody's like, I'll talk to them, like, why are you always frustrated? There's one guy, is my friend Perry. He makes like $3, $4, $5 million a year selling insurance. He runs an entire agency. This guy's always like just frustrated, so stressed. God damn, can't get these guys to work harder. He's like that, you know? I'm like, Perry, you gotta chill out, man. I'm like, you're making good money, relax. He goes, no, you don't understand. I love this shit. I love this shit. I'm like, what do you mean I love this shit? I'm like, you're so stressed, man. He goes, no, man, I fuck him
That's
up.
actually how he sounds.
And this is how he
Oh my
says, he
God.
like bites his teeth. He goes, no, man, I fuck him up.
Good. Always
I love it.
buzzing.
I love it. I love it. He's like, I'm buzzing. I'm like, do you do drugs? And he goes, and he doesn't answer me, so I'm like, you definitely do some drugs, man. But I'm like, aren't you stressed out? And you know what he said to me once? He's like, no, man, it fucking fuels me. It fuels me. I'm like, hold on. So you're telling me you're happy right now? He goes, I'm so happy. You have no idea, man. I'm like the luckiest guy in the world. I'm like, so why do you act this way? He goes, it's just fun, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this guy has a complete distinction between how he is outside and how he is inside.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? You can meet someone who's super, like, frustrated on the outside, but if that's their way of having fun with them being totally happy inside, it's working for them. Mm-hmm. But I'm not saying to do that. My point is, I'm like a disciplined focus. Like, in real life, I'm like, get the F out of my way. Like, let's get this done. You know? I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? You brought an iPad to the show prior to the show without preparing me? That's how I am. Okay?
True story that happened today.
That's how I am. But inside, I'm like, I'm so grateful, man.
We're trying.
We got a show.
We're
We
trying.
got all these people here. We're so, like, life is so long. We got so much opportunity. You see how much, this morning was amazing. It was blissful, you know? But I'm in here like, what the fuck is this? You know? My point to you is, learning to manage the exterior and interior is very important. So let me simplify this entirely and summarize my answer to you. Patience is just a bit of wisdom, understanding there is no other way. Okay? If you are taking massive action and changing your approach over and over again, there is no other way. You could also be doing it wrong.
Absolutely.
And that's why I said you got to do both. Because if you're doing nothing and being patient, then you're just lazy. If you're doing everything you can and you're being patient, now you're wise. If you're doing everything you can but you're not being patient, now you're being stupid.
Yeah.
Now if you're doing nothing and not being impatient, you're dead. You're not alive. You're in the ground. So life is about the variable of these two things. Being in balance, man. So it's okay. You'll move in when it's time to move in. You know what I like to do in situations like yours? I like to seek the lesson.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I thought it was going to happen in 2 weeks. It's happening in 5. Hasn't happened yet. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to happen. But this is me controlling my internal. Oh, this is all good. It's happening for me. But what can I do right now to fix it, though, still?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the mix, bro. Now, if I'm always just, what can I do now to fix it? I'm trying to fucking force life.
Yeah.
It's going to happen worse. Now, if I just sit there and go, it's not going to work out. Technically, those people will get it faster. Okay? It's not going to work out. And like something happens to them. But imagine mixing the two. Now you're unstoppable. You have a positive, massive action. Positive, strenuous, massive action. Manage the attitude, manage the behavior, all at the same time.
Yeah.
That's my answer, man.
Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
You're not impatient, by the way. You're just a bit frustrated with the situation. That doesn't mean you generalize your entire character as an impatient person.
Yeah.
Don't forget that either. You're probably the most calm, patient people I've ever met, bro. It's just one scenario. Relax. And here's another good lesson, man. I notice people do this. People have one thing happen in their life and then they generalize it to their whole life. Then they ask a question about this generalized thing.
It's called catastrophizing.
Catastrophizing. You're catastrophizing. This is a fast way of fucking yourself up. Don't do it. Here's why. I go to the grocery store. This is not a true story. I'm in the aisle. I accidentally bump into someone, and they turn around and go like, "Watch where you're going." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." No. Just damn, man.
Yeah.
Like, get in my way. And like treats me like that. And now I'm in my mind. I'm like, did I like shit? I hope I didn't hurt the guys. Like, I didn't mean to. Now I'm getting all a little sad. I get a little sad, and then now my mind is the frame of my thinking, my entire experience now is like, I pissed this guy off. Now I'm in the aisle and I'm trying to move some stuff, and someone's like, "Hey, don't move my stuff." And like now they're fucking giving me shit. I'm like, Jesus, like, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let me move it. And like I'm trying to be nice, and they're all being shitty to me. And then I go in my car and I'm driving to work now. I got my apples and shit, whatever I bought. And I'm in the highway and someone cuts me off or like looks at me and like throws me the finger, and I'm like, what the hell's going on today? And then I get in the office, I sit down with Jay. I'm like, Jay, am I a bad person? That right there is a great example of generalizing your problems. Now she might be like, and now imagine, this is what a really stupid thing to do is. No offense to everybody who's ever done this, I've done this, but it's really stupid. She'll sit down not knowing at all the source of my problem, and I should go, well, what make, like, well, no, you're not a bad person. Completely misdiagnosing my entire problem. She doesn't know what just happened to me.
Yeah.
Now she's gonna give me advice, because
Yeah.
she's that best friend, right? She's gonna be like, oh, you're not a bad person. It's just sometimes, now she's thinking about somebody else. Like, sometimes you're a little tough.
Sometimes you do this.
What the hell does the aisle and the car have to do with me being stressful? Something?
Yeah.
No, sometimes you're a little bit like this. All right, now I'm overthinking. I'm like, has this
am
been
a bad person.
has this been a lifelong problem and just no one told me? Until I bumped into that guy in the aisle, no one was telling me the truth. And now she goes, well, it's not a bad thing. I mean, you could kind of here, take this book. Read How to Win Friends and Influence People will help you out. Now I'm like, do I really have to read this whole book?
Yeah.
Am I that bad of a person?
Uh-huh.
She goes, no, just read it. There's some things you need to work on. Just something. I'm like, your things and my things. What's going on? I'm in a whirlpool of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, my mom calls me. Mom's like, and she's always in a mood. Like half the time she's just like, something's wrong anyways, It's most mothers. Most. She's like, you never call me or something like that. I'm like, now I'm on the coaching call with my clients. Now the clients are like, someone comes on and they go like, listen, I'm ready for you to rip me a new one. I'm like, what? Why would I rip you a new one? What? I'm a nice guy. Leave me alone. Right?
Huge.
Now that whole
Huge,
day,
huge,
I just
huge.
explained the stupid chain reaction of events
But people do that.
that can totally put me in a position where I start making concrete beliefs on completely unexpected and insignificant variables.
Mm-hmm.
But I make a concrete belief. Now I go to bed that day,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there thinking about, like, have I been bad to people?
Have I been shitty?
Have I been a shitty person in life? Imagine how stupid this entire... But bro, this is called mismanagement of the mind.
Yeah.
These are people that don't fucking understand what is happening. They're just so unconscious, like, just rolling around life.
Tumbleweeds.
Tumbleweed.
And imagine I sit there now and I make some concrete decisions. I make some big decisions in my life about who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Because of this stupid chain reaction of events, okay? All this miscommunication with myself and others. Imagine I wake up, I'm like, you know what? Tomorrow I'm gonna be extra nice. I'm gonna buy someone something. I'm gonna go give homeless people clothes.
Yeah.
Imagine now I'm trying to make myself feel good because I'm insecure. Now I spend 4 hours handing out socks to homeless people and like giving sandwiches to people. I'm trying to make up for this bullshit feeling of feeling like I'm a bad person. Think about how like over dramatized this has become.
Yeah.
How catastrophized this has become. All from that goddamn one person who probably had a shitty day waking up, hitting me in the aisle. Okay? Now I'm sitting down, like my whole week changes.
Yep.
Now I'm slowing down, getting distracted, overthinking. What are people thinking about me?
Mm-hmm.
Am I a bad person?
Mm-hmm.
And then a month passes by, my income decreases.
Yeah.
I start acting different. I start buying turtlenecks to show that I'm nicer. That has nothing to do with it. Right? I start swearing less. I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm just gonna be less intense.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe one of my clients need to hear something, and I'm afraid of what they'll think, so I say nothing. So they go off. Now look at the chain reaction. They go off and make the wrong decision in their business.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the balls to tell them the truth. Because I was afraid. Am I a bad person if I do that? Now they go and they make no money. They mess up something. Now they come back. They're pissed. Look at how much problems
Yeah.
this is tiny miscommunication with myself is causing. This is a good case of overgeneralizing, where you misdiagnose a fucking problem. I also call this inaccurate thinking. Now, what if I'm not that person? What if I'm a thinking garbage student? What if I'm aware? A guy hits me in the aisle. Watch this. See that whole chain reaction, a whole month passed by? I just pinned you a life of chain reactions of one thing, misdiagnosed. Watch this.
Yeah.
Now, alternate reality, guy hits me, I hit the guy in the aisle by accident. He turns out, like, watch where you're going. And I'm like, sorry, sir. In my head, I'm like, he must be having a bad day. And I move on with my life. And I don't question anything. Imagine how much I just reversed or eliminated from happening. Just because I gave the wrong meaning to the situation. Just because of how I perceived it. Another example of there's a difference between external situation and internal situation. My point to you is, you just have 3 weeks extra on your expectation every time to get an apartment. You're a little frustrated. You probably want to move in. You finally want to get to that point. You just want it faster than normal. That's very normal, bro. It doesn't mean you're an impatient person. You're not cut out to do this. It's not meant to be. It's none of that, bro. Relax. You know? Like, chill. And then just be like, what can I do now? Let's have a positive attitude about massive action. Okay, what can we do next? Let's get it going.
Yeah.
Let's get it going. You know? Be resourceful. Call the person back. What can I do to make it work? Right? That person will yield everything they want in life without getting distracted and off track. But that one thing right there I just explained, bro, overgeneralizing problems, insignificant, making big deals out of small things, that should eliminate 80% of your stress in life. Just understanding what I just said. Don't fucking do that. Okay? Be acutely sensitive and aware to what's happening. Does that make sense? I always, here's a habit I built. If I feel off, I'll always go down to the most logical, most minuscule things that it could be affecting me and just like explain it to myself at that level so I don't generalize. Like example, I'll wake up, you know, COVID right now is making everyone afraid. If you feel a little bit off, you're like, oh my God, that's COVID. Yeah. You know, like, yeah.
A little tickle in my throat.
Yeah, I feel like your nose is there, you go, is that a symptom, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I learned, I'm like, that's just fear overtaking me. It's overgeneralizing. So you know what I do? I'll always go to the most logical, most positive explanation of the source of the problem. So if I feel like tired, I'll be like, or like sick, I'll be like, I ate some bad food yesterday. It's probably that. And if that wasn't that, I'd be like, It's because I haven't got sleep. If it's not that, I'm like, this thing's been stressing me out. That's probably it. The last thing I'll think about is a worst case scenario. What you're doing, not now, but what you probably usually do is, the first thing you think about is the worst case scenario.
That's true.
Flip that, bro. Life is very different. Now you're a practical hippie. That's what I become. I'm a practical hippie, bro. How hippie am I? I meditate like every day, man.
We're pretty hippie.
I manifest like crazy, bro. I manifest, man. I manifest all this shit. But I do practically, man. You know? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's super deep. I like that external versus internal thing. I never processed it that way, so that really helps a lot to, fully separate that.
Yeah, man. Distinguish the difference. Good?
Yeah, it's dealing with my terrible internet connection as well.
No, it's alright. It's not you. It must be us. Man, Carrie even got the Cha-Ching t-shirt on. What you know about that?
Okay.
Is that the second question?
That's Jordan's second question.
So Carrie has a second question.
So Carrie has a second
Jordan,
question.
I love you. I'll call you back. Or I won't. Enjoy the show. Alright, now I go Carrie. Don't even try. Alright, Carrie. Calling you. Ringing up your phone. Oh, damn. It's already 1.
It is, yeah. Time's gone by quick.
Alright, so you got the last question, Care Bear. Please tell me someone's called you Care Bear and that wasn't the first time.
Yeah, somebody's called me Care Bear before.
Alright, what's your second question?
Alright, so my question is, I have a lot of people that fill out my application that say they don't have any money, so they really can't afford my services, and sometimes they might not even have enough money to start an ATM business. So what do you suggest that I do with those people? Because the reality is, I could sell them a cheap as shit training program, but I don't feel like I don't feel like that's a good thing to do, because a lot of people will be like, oh, the ATM business is easy, but I know they're gonna have questions. I know they're gonna need coaching. I know they're gonna need help. So I don't feel like that's the best way to be of service to them. So What do you think I should do with the people who can't afford my training?
So let me ask you a question. You know how there's courses and there's coaching?
Yeah.
Right? Courses are complete do-it-yourself, right?
Right.
Now, do you know people that have got some good results from courses, like literally no coaching? Because we're in a coaching world, so we're very used to how important it is to get on calls and ask questions, right?
Yeah, so that's a great question.
I'm not saying who's done better. They have their different. Obviously, coaching is always going to be better. It's the most premium thing you could offer somebody. But isn't there a whole world of Russell Brunson courses that have helped people achieve results? Courses, just.
And I'll be honest with you. When I first started teaching people this business, I literally just sold them a training program, and people had results.
Yeah. So I'm bringing that up because there's a place for everything. So in the most narrowest niche, the most accurate form of targeting, right, is the person who is trying what they're doing. They are experienced or seasoned and they need help. Someone's doing better, right? In our program we talk about levels of targeting.
Yeah.
It's the person who is doing what you're doing, isn't doing as good as you. They'll pay you anything to fix the problems they're going through, right? Then the one level of broader is the person who isn't trying what you're doing, but they are doing it. So they're on a mission already, and they just haven't tried it your way. Then the most broadest version are the people that every day they kind of want to, they're open to it, but they haven't started, they kind of started. It's very vague. Every time you go out a level broader, there's another belief you have to instill in their mind for them to buy. At the very core, at the level 1, the course targeted, most narrow targeting, all you have to convince them is that you're the way for them to fix this. Your program is the key. At one level broader, level 2, because they're not trying your method, you have to convince them that your method is better than what they're trying and your program is the best way to execute it. And if you go the broadest, it's the people that buy courses. Those people, you have to convince them first to have a goal in their life to even work towards. Then convince them your method of doing that, achieving that goal is best. And then convince them that your program is the best way to execute. So can you see how the broader you go, right, the bigger the population you target, there are more things that have to happen for them to succeed and to buy your program. Now that explains, I wish I had my whiteboard. Now that explains.
Do you need the iPad?
No. Next episode. Now that explains, Carrie, why there are courses in books, in funnels, and tripwire funnels created. Because that person that needs to first believe their goal, believe the method, and then they have to kind of work their way to being ready to be a client of that size. right? So my point to you is this. Now you understand where courses are purposeful. Because person on level 1 and 2, they don't want to buy a course. They're done. They don't want to buy another $1,000 thing to learn something. They need someone helping them. Like, I'll pay 30, 40 grand to get someone to come in my business with me and look at stuff. That's worth it. But someone on that just more beginner, more start, more broke, broke is just an outward reflection in a bank account of where they're mentally at. That means
That's so true.
they haven't done enough in that goal yet to yield results, which means mentally they're at I'm not committed to this yet. That's why there's no money, because you and I both know money only shows up when you show your fucking commitment to the goal.
True.
You work long enough that it starts showing those results.
True.
So that means they still got to be convinced that they can do it, that they want to do it. It's like you're more of a life coach at that point.
Yeah.
A $500 course is more useful to that person. They're willing to spend, that's their threshold of, I'll pay to figure this out. And where they need to develop the commitment to the goal on their own before they become a high ticket client. Because a high ticket client, I'm very selective with who I choose. You know how many people we turn away? People that can afford our program, I'm like, You're not, like, just because you have money doesn't qualify you to be a client.
Totally agree. I agree. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, because that person will come in with a beginner attitude. I'm like, why would we take your money? Take it back. It costs us more with our sanity. So, what I'm trying to say is this. I'm trying to give you context before I give you an answer, you know? Understand that what you're selling is high ticket. What you're doing, the coaching, that's not for everybody. So that means 67% of people that talk or book a call with you aren't going to be qualified. And that's normal. But the reason why we charge so much higher ticket is because there's a smaller pool. That makes up for the balance of the business working. You see what I'm saying? Everybody else, they're where they have to be. They're not at that level of a high ticket client for you yet. Now, what can you do? There's two things you can do. One is, and Carrie, this again goes back to what I always think about. Is what do you want? Depends on the vision of your business, what you should do with those people. For example, if your goal is to become the number one in the world and like dominate the entire industry in ATM businesses, then you're going to want to create a product in a funnel for every level because you want to create as much monopoly as possible. Everybody knows about you.
Yeah.
In that case, build a course now or to give them a course for $500,000 to get them started. So they buy that and then eventually it's not that I'm saying that's the smartest way to build a value ladder. I'm just saying that's the only way to build autonomy, you know? Like everybody knows about you. Like Sam Ovens has something for everybody. He has a free trial, his 2K, his 6K, 30K. That's called domination. Russell Brunson knows everybody. It's not because it made the most money to do that. It's just because that creates influence. So that's your vision for your business. Then yeah, you got to now build the low ticket thing for the low ticket people, the mid ticket for the mid ticket, the high ticket for the high ticket. And you got to make sure it's something for everybody because you got to create an open door for that pool of people to show up. If your vision is to cap at a certain amount of a couple $1 million and just make money, and then reinvest that money somewhere else, then don't bother building a whole new version and department of your business. Just realize that those people aren't your clients, and that's it. And those are two things you can do here.
What you just described, the second part, that's my vision. It's to, build a big business, but then reinvest in funds and in the business, in my actual ATM business and other things. But I already have a low ticket program. I already have $1,000 program that, it's not like I would need to recreate it. I already have it. I just haven't sold it.
You know what you should do?
What?
This is what I would do if I were you. And good, by the way, see how the vision changes? Because if you said, no, I want to be the Russell Brunson of ATMs, I'd be like, oh, then you got to get to work. You don't have enough products yet. Because you need something for everybody. Right? Not everyone's going to pay you 10, 20 grand. Not everyone's going to, but not everyone's going to pay you 500 just because they can. There's a place for everybody. But if your goal is like, no, I just need to make money. Well, first of all, what's your goal for money is my question. Because are you not making it? In that case, you should be focused on reinvesting, not growing the business even bigger. Just maintaining it and growing it little by little. Don't stress yourself out with trying to build brand new multiple things if it's just going to give you an extra whatever. Like, are you not hitting your income goal with the business and profit?
Yeah, no, I am. It's just that I don't. This might sound rude, but I don't want the headaches from somebody that's going to pay $1,000 for something. You know what I mean? I don't want that kind of headache to deal with that.
Yeah. So, luckily for us, we're in another program together. So I'm going to tell you that's biased framing. The only reason why you would think that, and trust me, I understand. The only reason why you think that is because of the source of where it's coming from. And if you,
Actually, I used to sell lower before I got into high ticket. I was selling lower ticket stuff, and that's where it came from. Actually,
no, I get you. But right now, the health of your business is dependent on the high ticket, and that's working well, right?
Yeah.
So you can afford, if it matters to you. Okay, first of all, I'm just gonna tell you the answer that you obviously probably want to hear. Or that's based on what you just said. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't try to build low ticket, because you just said I have a very big bias against working with low ticket clients. That's not rude. It's just your preference. It's like I don't like certain type of shoes. Doesn't mean I'm dissing them. It's just not my preference. So you just be happy with having what you have. Then don't create an extra insignificant source of income based off extra work. You know, it's the funny thing, and I like that you're asking this, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs completely underestimate the workload of something and overestimate the results of it. So they'll be like, well, I'll just build a course. I'm like, it's not that simple, all right? I'll just bring an iPad and we'll just use it. Nothing's that simple, okay? Nothing other than bring you guys on screen, nothing else is that simple. So my point is, I'm throwing shots at these guys. My point is,
Take a breath.
let's get to leave it. My point is, right? I'm glad that you're thinking about the cost, the price of getting that, right? So here's an easy way if you want to fix it, by the way. Easy way. But again, take into account, if you do start offering a low ticket thing in the way I'm going to tell you, it's actually brilliant. You're still going to open up that field, like there's going to be $1,000 clients. And so if you don't like that, just don't do any of this. Don't even ask this question. Don't fucking worry about it. Okay? But if you want to, here's what you can do. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Do you have a book call no sale automation in your emails? They book call, but they didn't buy.
Yes, I do, yeah.
They book call, but they didn't buy, right?
Yep.
You have an automation, not a list. Like you send them something automatically through an email if they don't buy after 7 days of booking.
I mean, I just sent him an email.
Okay, it's just one email that says, hey, what happened? You're on the call.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Add one more email. Because that's bringing them back. What if they could have bought? How many reps you got?
Two to three, depending on call volume.
Don't ever let them think they could sell the $1,000. It will hurt your high ticket.
They already know that. Yep. Okay.
So do this. Make an automation. You could either do one email automation, like one email in the notebook called no sale, or a 7-day sequence, like the traditional soap opera sequence, and just sell them the low ticket.
Okay.
In automation. So every 10 people that book call but don't buy, right? That's minus the people that do buy, obviously. They'll get that email within, let's say, a week after your, hey, what happened email. Now, let's say a week after that, they just get hit with the next shot. Hey, I know you wanted to do this, but here's what you can do instead, ... I'm like, hey, listen, I never do this. In fact, you can't even buy this online. Only through this email can you click this link.
Yeah.
I have a program that can get you started, even if you can't afford our high ticket. This is something that helped me, and just again, sell them. Don't be like courses are shit. Like courses is what got me started.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to give you a second chance here to see if you can get this started before you come and get our coaching. And just give them a link to a sales page that explains what's in the course, and just maybe 1 out of every 10, 2 out of every 10 will give you an extra $1,000. And the importance isn't the money, is that if they buy that, they get back into plug it into your content, they'll eventually just book a call. In the course area, put a book call button everywhere.
Love that.
Yeah. I love that, Armin, because, I wasn't offering one, but I actually feel bad for people that want to better their life, but they can't afford my higher end training. So I like that, number one. And number two, I like it. And I think that if I sold those, I would still throw my salespeople a little bit of money. That's just how I am.
Yeah, and if you, because they won't sell on the phone. Remember, they're gonna buy it off a order page. But you know what you could do is you can get your salespeople. This is a very advanced strategy. When they buy the $1,000 thing, that's a super hot lead. So what you could do is just train them for once a month or once every 2 weeks to hit up those low ticket sales and be like, hey, how are you liking the course so far? Are you ready to take it to the next level? Because that's a super hot lead. Even though they already talked to them, they can just go back like, hey, I saw you plugged in and just helping them out.
I like that. I love that.
Right? That's a good idea. But just building a whole new funnel and a webinar, a whole department, that's don't see again, misdiagnosing problem. Just because you feel bad. Their life isn't going to change if you do or don't give a course. They'll find a way. There is loss to these things. There's a major portion of people that will struggle in small. It's just how things are. We'll never reverse that. It's too big. It's too big of a momentum for one person to try to change. So if you want to do your part, just inside your sequence without hindering the actual business that's working, add that little option. That's it.
I love it.
It's a good idea. That was a good question. That's a really good question.
Perfect. Thanks, Armin.
We're about to wrap up, so I don't know where you guys are going. Oh, there we go. Okay. It's a fun show. Carrie, great questions.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Jordan as well, man. You guys rocked it. Like, honestly, you did. Like, I enjoyed this way more. Who's going to be the next two guests on our show next week is the question. Guys, thank you so much for hopping on to Clear Talk with us. We really appreciate it, and we hope you enjoyed it as well and got your value from the questions. And if you're watching this and you want your questions answered live on the show, go to AskArmin.com or plug into our High Ticket Coaching community group. Join the next competition to win a spot on the show and get direct coaching like Jordan and Carrie were just getting on the show.
Yes.
Okay, that was like direct. Carrie, I would do that with my own clients. You know, that going that detail into things. Obviously, that was if you're on my program, I would like share my screen, do a bunch of stuff with you.
Yeah.
But that was like as direct as it could get, and you'll make not only huge impact, but also obviously more efficient income in your business just doing those couple things. And tell me how it goes, by the way, with your targeting ads with the YouTube videos and all that, and that'd be cool. I would love to know where you what happens after you do that. So if you're watching this and you want to be on the show like this, make sure you're in our High Ticket Coaching Community Facebook group. If you're on YouTube and you enjoyed this content, hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell. And guys, if you are watching, I used to be this person. I used to watch a bunch of people's videos over and over and over, but never click like, never commented. They never knew I was there. Don't be that person.
We want to know you.
Hit that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let us know. Let us know that you like us, you hate us. We got to find out. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Clear Talk. We go live every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time to answer your questions to help you grow your business and your impact in income. So love you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Go on and make the rest of your week the best of your week.